Hello, everybody. Hello. Right, so we've had some weird stuff going on with StreamYard. So first off, it was saying that I didn't have enough streaming time left this month, I know I did a long stream yesterday, 3 hours yesterday, but you get allotted 20 hours a month free, and even used a portion of that. So I refreshed everything and went back into it, and I'd still got something like 12 hours left. So I don't get where StreamYard's doing that. Maybe they've messed up, or they're having a bit of a burp today. So no intro today, just getting straight into it. Yeah, that was strange. Very strange. Yeah, I originally started to do the live stream, tried to go live, and it just came on. You've only got 10 minutes stream time left. So whether it must have been a glitch or something like that, I don't know. Very strange. But yeah, I haven't promoted the stream at all today, so I probably won't get as many people coming in because I just straight into it. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Right, Susan. It says the video has been removed. Yeah, I had to remove the original stream, which is it's strange while this chat is still attached to it. That was weird. StreamYard's doing some weird stuff today. Hello, Nicola H. I hope you're still here. Hello, how you doing? I'll wait for people to come in, let word get around that, yeah, the stream's going ahead. I think Tom's actually streaming as well. Never mind. I think he's out walking his dog, doing a dog stream, so yeah. So look at this. I think this is the second attempt at notification. Right, okay. Yeah, there was a bit of a glitch with the live stream for some reason. Talking about AI, is he right? Okay. See, if I'd known Tom was actually going to go live, I wouldn't have done it. I've gone live earlier today rather than 3 o'clock to see if get some different people coming in. Yeah, right. What to talk about? This is just a straight talking one. I just got nothing to do. I was a bit bored, so I thought I'd go live and see what you guys were up to. See if you wanted to talk about anything. Is there any subjects you guys want to talk about? Want to cover today? Anything you want me to take a look at? Is there anything you want to ask me? Should we do this? Should we do as a Vsb Straight Talking questions and answers thing? Definitely no to digital ID. Let's have a look at some of my stuff that I've got going on X. I'll have a look at some of this. So obviously, Keir Starmer's just being a dodgy criminal because he is. He's a criminal. The guy is a criminal. He's a traitor and a criminal to this country. And let's have a look what he's been up to recently. I did bookmark some stuff actually. Got to talk about some other things as well. Did I bookmark it? There's a lot of stuff, weird stuff going on today. I bookmarked a load of stuff on X. I'm starting to wonder if I've been hacked. I've been hacked to something because lots of things have disappeared today. It's strange. Like things have just been unbookmarked. That is strange. Very strange. All right, let's have a look. I got the whole thing lined up where Keir Starmer was covering up the I don't know if this is it. Is this it or not? Oh, this is it. Patrick Christie again, yeah. Yeah, this is what I was going to take a look at. This was weird. What's going on with this today? Because he keeps covering it up. He keeps having these special injunctions to stop the press talking about it, because the press got hold of it, then it should bring his government down. But obviously, to bring a government down, you need a strong enough opposition to do it, and we just don't have a strong enough opposition. You know, he's really getting a really easy ride at Prime Minister's Question Time, isn't he? Mainly because his opposition, and I include Reform in this, are useless. They're useless. The Conservatives are useless. The Reform is useless at holding him to account, mainly because they're in trouble with their own scandals. It's like this is where we are. This is where we are at the minute. You know, how can Reform go in there and keep the government to task on its scandals when it is absolutely scandal ridden itself? Because they just take just as much flack. It's really hard to get behind Reform because they don't do themselves any favours whatsoever with what they've done, really. Right, let's share the screen. So I'm just out of sorts today for some reason. I don't know why. I'm usually more prepared than this. But get this up on screen. All right. Right, so as we all know, Keir Starmer is as dodgy as hell. So we'll listen to what Patrick Christie's got to say.
Breaking right now. According to the Daily Telegraph, Jonathan Powell, who's the head of national security, suppressed a major Whitehall investigation into Chinese spying after lobbying from the Treasury. This is the latest, really very serious development in this China spy scandal that is threatening to bring down this government. Powell decided in June that the government would not publish details about Beijing's espionage from the Foreign Office's own China audit. His decision came after the Treasury said that releasing information from the...
That's it, isn't it, though? That's exactly it. This government is just dodgy as hell, aren't they? Dodgy as hell. They're criminal. They're absolutely criminal. They're traitors. Hey, Babs, how you doing? Hi, Ben. Hope you and family well. Yep, they're fine, thank you. Afternoon, how you doing? I can't see Starmer any more than I can't detest Starmer any more than I do. I was speaking to a random pensioner a few weeks back, and she said she can't stand him. And I'm in the red wall. Yeah, same here. Exactly the same here as well. Hi, Alex. How you doing? That's what we're talking about at the minute, the Chinese embassy. This is what the whole spy thing is about. Because apparently it's an intelligence gathering centre. It's a spy centre. That's why it's so big. And as Steve was pointing out yesterday, it's right over the financial institutions' cable network. So they could link into it. We wouldn't know. They could actually link into that and tap into the financial infrastructure of this country and tap into it and be spying on it. And there's nothing we could do about it. And Angela Rayner, David Lammy campaigned for this. They campaigned for this. Alex, what is that little emoji thing? What is it? You always do it, but I don't know what it is. What about Ben Habib? Is he too late to the game? He said he won't be fully ready until 2027. I think that's being optimistic, to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to be ready until after the next, not this coming general election, 2029, after the next general election. There's one key thing people need when you go into a general election, and that's data on where you can best maximize your majorities. And unfortunately, you don't get that data unless you enter elections. So unless he goes into the May elections and fields 650 candidates so he can test the water where he's most popular, so he can concentrate on getting big majorities to get more seats in Parliament, then he's not going to be ready until after the 2034 general election. And by that time, it will be too late. It's going to be too late by the time 2029 comes round. But yeah, don't forget the Advanced UK is a fledgling party. It's taken the best part of 20 years for the Reform Party to get its act together and get 5 MPs in Parliament. It's very, very hard. It's very, very hard to for a new party to break into the mainstream with the first past the post system. Baseball white cap out. Oh, okay. Right, let's play the rest of this then.
Comprehensive analysis of China's influence in Britain could damage trade and investment links. The audit, promised in Labour's manifesto, became just 2 paragraphs in Powell's national security strategy. Wow. Huge news. This is the scandal that could bring down the Labour government. Christopher Cash and Christopher Berry were both accused of spying for China. They were arrested under the Official Secrets Act in March 2023. They were charged with espionage offences on the 22nd of April, weeks before Sir Keir Starmer becomes Prime Minister. They always denied the charges, and they continue to deny the charges. But then, on the 15th of September, the charges were dropped, apparently because Labour did not want to say that China was a national security threat.
That's because Starmer and his cronies are all in bed with China, because look at the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum has close ties to China, very close ties. So much so that often the leader of China comes and speaks at the World Economic Forum. We've seen Klaus Schwab get on stage at the World Economic Forum and say that China is the model for the rest of the world. China is the model to look at. It's because they love communism. They love the fact that the workers are just peasants and they have all the power, and that they're not held to account by the people. It's they who make all the rules. That's the way they want it. That's what these corporations want, that they want to be able to subjugate their workers where they have no power and just make them lots of money. That's what they want. That's exactly what they want. They want you returned, and you and me to returned to serfdom, to peasants on the land, working the land and then paying them tax whilst we get a pittance to live off. That's what they want. It's all about power and influence and money, as it always is with these people. It's like something out of a James Bond film where they've got their eyes on world domination, and they're not going to have it. They're not going to have it at all. Communist Manifesto, yep. You can tell by the way Starmer and those around speak about us that they hate us. Oh yeah, they hate us. They can't stand us. Yeah, everybody thinks that's going to be fantastic, universal basic income for everyone, until you realise you're working 16-hour shifts down a mine and getting the same amount of money as somebody that's working in a coffee shop for the same sort of work. So yeah, that's where the equality part comes in. Yeah, you're equally screwed as everybody else under communism. That's what it's all about. Definitely brings equality. It's not the equality everybody thinks it's going to be. You know what? I in a way, the sadistic part of me hopes that these twat, lefty, dickhead students get their wish and we get full communism in this country. I know it's going to be bad for everybody. I know it's going to be really bad for everybody. But it will teach these twats a lesson that they will never want communism ever again. They really won't, because you have to live through something to understand it. And when they're being dragged off down to the salt mine, instead of writing poetry off out in it, which was what they think it is, they think it's going to be some kind of utopia. And the fact of the matter is, when everybody knows that the economy is centralized, it's centralized economy, it's a planned economy. So basically, you get told what job to do. And if you don't do that job, off to the gulag you go. Bye-bye, off to the concentration camp, work yourself to death. You're no good to the machine. You're just a cog in the machine to them. So it's just bye-bye, isn't it? But yeah, I would love to see the students' faces when they think it's going to be just writing music and writing poetry in fields with sunshine and flowers. And then the reality kicks in when, the secret police come round and drag them off to do a 16-hour shift down a coal mine. That's when the reality of what communism is will wake them up. That'd be a sausage, Steve. To be a sausage. Don't forget to let the sausages go. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be a giant hot dog on his lap with like googly eyes on it, stroking it. First they lose their phones. Person blue holding pencil. Except they won't be dragged off to gulag. Second lose the drugs, yeah. Is everyone poor, depressed and hungry? Look out the window, yep. Then you could advise people to start stocking up on food at home, like people did in 2012 when they thought the world would end. In short, should people prepare for the worst? You should always be prepared for the worst. You should always be at operational readiness. Well, in my book anyway, operational readiness. Ready for anything to happen, be prepared, sort of thing. And it's not as dramatic as the world ending, just be prepared to go without power or without heating for a long time. Well, then you should always be prepared for that. He would love Blair in his lap if he catch my drift yet. And some, say, Ukrainian rent boys, maybe. Yeah. Scary to think how much worse it will be in the next few years. This is just a start, exactly. This is just the tip of the iceberg. When they've not even begun to destroy this country yet. There's a video about that woman who tore down the yellow ribbons. Is on a subsidised PhD studying Islamic ghost culture. Wow. I'm pretty much prepared for anything, to be honest with you guys. Right, I think I've seen enough about this story. But yeah, we know that Keir Starmer's dodgy. We know the government is criminal. It's a criminal government. There's no doubts about it. They are traitors to this country. The king is a traitor to the country. The government are traitors to the country. It's basically, we're an occupied country, and the country, the people that have conquered us have put in a what do you call what's the government called in an occupied country? It gives the illusion that there's still control there for the people. Come on, Steve. It's on the tip of my tongue. You should know what this is. It's similar to what the Nazis did to France in World War II. They installed their own government. What's it called? A Quisling government. There's another name for it though. God, what's it called? Hello. Hello, everybody. Sound is back. Right. Yeah, what happened was I didn't have the phone plugged in while I was using it as the microphone and the webcam, so it drained the battery pretty quick. So, yeah, that's why the sound went off. Sorry about that, everybody. Don't panic, we've got it fixed. Oh, God. Then we know not your fault. It was my fault. I should have plugged it in. I'll have to plug the laptop in as well, because I don't know why it is. And I've got to change all the settings on the laptop as well, because every time I unplug it, it goes into like power saving mode, and it goes dark for some reason. That's better. Right, there we go. I loaded it for the coach load last night, and 2 had dropped off the brand new flats. Only been in the country 2 days. Disgusting. He's on. Is he on Liam Tuff's tonight? Is it tonight he's on? Yeah, is it 6 o'clock tonight? He's on Liam Tuff's, the dozen. Sure, I saw it advertised somewhere. Right, but let's see what we can see. Right, we'll get rid of that. Don't want that on anymore now. Want to touch on this though? Definitely want to touch on this little thing here. This really pissed me off. I don't know why shops and pubs are so offended by people going into shopping precincts and pubs with a Union flag or St George's Cross. I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. Right, so we're gonna have a look at this, because I don't know if anybody's seen this, but apparently this veteran, ex-Marine, kicked out of shopping centre in Leeds for having Union Jack. So we'll watch this.
Out of a shopping centre, Crossgate Shopping Centre in Leeds.
So you know me, please.
Right, absolutely. Seacroft as well it is. Crossgates.
Please.
Right.
So that,
All I wanted, right, was a cup of tea, bit of pizza, and a Newport from my flag, and they've kicked me out.
Yeah.
Eh?
That's not going to do any people any good, is it?
Yeah.
If you're walking around, all right, you've got a flag, and this, that, and the other.
I'm off to a march. I'm off to protest at the hotel.
Why should you protest?
I wasn't protesting. I went to get a cup of tea and a thingy bob.
Just done it to get a cup of tea.
Yeah.
You do no else.
No, not else. And I was on my way to B&M to get another flag.
Right, you see, this is what annoys me, because if a load of pro-Palestine marchers had walked in there with a Palestine flag, they would have said jack shit to them. They wouldn't have said anything to them. They'd have let them do what they want to do, walk around, do the thing. If some idiots had walked in there with a pride flag, they wouldn't have said a word, because they wouldn't want to offend them, would they? But because it's somebody with a Union flag going in there, and it's especially disgusting because it's a veteran. So without that guy giving his service, those shops probably wouldn't be here without his sacrifice. It just pisses me off. It really does, that they can treat somebody like that. Just annoys me. They've got no respect. They've got all the respect for the wrong people, but no respect for the people that actually deserve it. Hey Louise, how you doing? Oldest trick in the book: divide, rule, or fall. Yeah. Just annoys me. I'll watch the rest of it.
Flagpole.
Ex-Marine, mate.
Eh?
Ex-Marine.
Yes, I am, yeah. Right, means 14
No
commando.
way on earth
Three
is
rifles.
that.
They're not 20 of us.
Respect, sir. Respect,
Yeah,
sir.
there's respect. But out of state, we know this area. There's no way on earth. There was, if he's just walking in to get a cup of tea and a sandwich,
Right, was I doing anything wrong? I was told, because I've got a flag, I had to leave.
He just walked in like he did.
I just walked in and I've been kicked out. I went in to get Greg's and I was walking down.
They wouldn't do it.
Ridiculous.
They would not do
They've
it.
just done it. They've just done it. Absolutely. Angela, I can't believe what's happened. I just cannot believe what's happened, Angela. I've been honestly kicked out. I went to get, as I say, a Greg's.
There's no way on earth he's kicked out for no reason.
The manageress actually come out herself.
I've been down there 20 years.
Yeah,
This is what you get for serving your country. Kicked out the shopping centre. Unbelievable. I'm not. Am I far right, mate? Am I far right? You know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think I might be by the look of it, mate.
Notice the irony, though. They've got the car rammings of peace barriers in front. They've got more to fear from the people they allow through that door with a Palestinian flag than they do from an ex-Marine veteran that would probably protect them from those people if they kicked off. But no, he's the one that gets kicked out. And it's always those lunatics that are allowed to do what they want and go anywhere in shopping malls, precincts, airports, or anything like that. They're never kicked out because moron managers of these shopping malls don't want to offend them. Sickens me.
Just can't believe, lads. I've been kicked out of the shopping centre because I had that in a Bergen. I went to get something to eat before the demonstration, mate, and I got kicked out. Unbelievable. Absolutely. Crossgate shopping centre.
Well, you know what to do, guys. If you live in Leeds, don't use them anymore. Boycott them. Scumbags. This is what we're up against, though, isn't it? These sort of people. You know what? I really get it when some people think that, oh no, you know, we can't. A national strike won't work. You know, boycotts won't work. You know, because there's too many idiots. There's too many idiots that just buy into this bullshit. That are just, I don't know. I don't know anymore, guys. I really don't. You know, my advice now is to everybody is just prepare for the worst. Prepare for the worst. That's my advice. You know, like someone was saying earlier, make sure you've got plenty of non-perishable foods in. Make sure you've stocked up on a few packets of water. Enough to last you a month, I would say, if you're going to get water. Enough to last you a month. Don't forget, you're probably going to need some water for washing yourself as well, so maybe double that. But yeah, prepare yourselves. At least have some way of heating yourself should the power go off and the heating go off. Thick blankets. What I would advise would do is to go on Amazon. There's some thick military blankets. Get the thick wool military blankets because they are really warm, very warm. I've actually, for those that don't know, actually, I have a camping channel as well. I've got a camping channel. We're going to take a look at that in a minute, actually. I keep saying actually a lot today. It's my new word. It's my catchphrase, actually. My partner's going to pick up on that in a bit. She'll be saying actually all day to me now. And I've just said that. It used to be exactly, but now it's going to be actually. She's probably upstairs now, smirking her little head off. Yeah, we'll have a look at that in a minute. I was going to say actually again then. Right, so that was that veteran. I'm just winging it today, guys. Yesterday I did a 3-hour live stream, probably one of the longest ones I've ever done. And I kind of said everything that I needed to say yesterday. So this is just basically me just chatting to you guys. That's all it is. I didn't really have this planned. I was like, I'm just bored. I'll just go and see what everybody's up to. It might sound a bit extreme, but would you advise people to also maybe start hunting their own food? No. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't advise that. Yeah, about a 3-hour marathon wore you out. It did, mate. It was like it was a good one though. It's always good when I get Tom in. He's really great. He is, and he really needs. His channel's got about 18,000 subscribers, but it suffered the same fate as some other people's, where it got quarantined. So what YouTube does is it throttles back any traffic going to it. So it doesn't matter if he's got 18,000 subscribers. It's more like he's only got 100 subscribers at the minute because they throttle back traffic to his channel to such an extent that he barely gets any views on his videos and on his live streams. So, yeah, there we go. Right. Vin, a question about the British Army. Obviously, in your day, I'm sure the British Army were very fit, strict. Today, however, many foreigners and even Brits say the British Army look weak. Do you? Well, they're not the best in the world anymore. Not by a long shot. Unfortunately, the army has become very much like the police. It's lowered its standards. I'm talking about the British Army. There's other divisions of the British Army, obviously, but the British military, but they've definitely lowered their standards. I think the paras and stuff like that, they're still high standards. You've still got to meet a certain grade to get in there. But the basic army, where you're just going to be a squaddy, they're just like the police, unfortunately. I did a live stream about it. I think it was a few months ago, where one of my mates who'd been in the army for years came out and he said, "I'm done. I've had enough. It's gone woke, mate. It's gone woke." And he was telling me about notices that were being put up in barracks, not to put up the Union flag because it could be seen as far right, even though it's on their uniform. Not to display, not to show acts of patriotism because it could be considered far right. It's ideologically captured. It has really gone the way of the police force now, the army. And from what I've heard, so is the Navy, so is the Air Force. It's all gone the same way. Do you think there's a deeper reason that they are being spread out to all areas rather than keeping them in one location? Why move from one hotel to another in a different town? That's a good question. I don't have all the answers. To me, if I was looking at it from a military point of view, I'd be looking at the same way that you are. It's putting your pieces on a chessboard strategically. You know, most towns have got an illegal immigrant hotel, haven't they? Thanks for answering, Vern. Steve, may agree. I've seen videos of British Army and Lave have a bit belly to say. It's not just that; it's their actual attitude. Look at their propaganda they use to recruit people into the army now. It's like we're marching across the moors. We've got a Muslim with us with the prayer mat. We're gonna. Oh, he's got to pray. Right. Okay. We'll just stop our patrol to allow the Muslim to pray. Now, anybody with an ounce of sense would know there's no way on earth that would happen on a patrol. Not a chance. You're leaving yourself vulnerable. It's just propaganda. Then do you believe there's a military global alliance ready to take down the deep state? Wishful thinking. Wishful thinking. It's wishful thinking. If it's them having everywhere means they have the ability to call on them to do whatever they need and to do so. We've got to be balanced in this though, guys. There's no proof of that at all. Be ready for that to be a reality, but we can't say for certain that that's a fact, can we? The standard for the first grade in the army is RM is 20 kilometers, 2 kilometers in 10 minutes max. Target is 30% to recruit women, and that's their downfall. Yep. Right. So I was never in the regular army. I was in the TA. I was in the TA from what 18. I was doing the YTS at the same time, and I joined the TA to do just for a bit of extra money, and it was a different story back then. It was a joke. The training in the TA back then, when I was doing it, was an absolute joke. You didn't do basic training. You just did it over the course of several weekends. your basic training. So you didn't go off and do boot camp like the regular soldiers did. You just did it gradually over weeks, sort of thing. And you had to qualify. You had to do certain things to qualify to get your pay and that sort of thing. You had to keep current with training and that sort of thing. But yeah, my experience was very different. It was very much a drinking culture, the TA, very much that. In fact, Steve will probably tell you about this, that the Territorial Army at the time we were known as toy soldiers. We weren't taken seriously at all. We weren't taken seriously at all. And looking back on it, I can understand why. Because we were a bit of a shabby lot. We were more of a dad's army than regular army. But that doesn't mean to say that we couldn't fight if we had to. We could. We definitely could. Weekend warriors, that's it, Steve. And it was due to this. My friend, he joined the TA, and I did it for a few years, and then he went into the regular army from the TA. He joined the regular army from that. He joined up, and that's the friend who went on to do CPO work in Iraq, and that's the guy who recommended me to the company he was working for. And it was because of my time in the TA, because obviously I'd gone around weapons, I knew how to handle guns and stuff like that, and knew tactics. But I had to pass a selection test because I hadn't been in the military for years when before I went to Iraq. So I had to go through a selection process where you have to go through brutal training to bring you up to standard of the people that are out there. And yeah, it was brutal, absolutely brutal. And if you didn't make the grade, you weren't good enough, and that was it. It wasn't being discriminatory or anything like that. It's just something you had to do. You had to be physically fit. You had to be able to carry a pack with weight in it over a certain distance. You had to be able to handle a weapon under pressure. And it was nothing like the training that I received in TA. This was about small groups of people being surrounded by large groups of people and having the knowledge and the ability to get your assets out of there safely without getting any casualties. That was the goal, no casualties. It was very enjoyable. It was more intense than the TA, put it that way. A lot more intense. I did a stint in the TA before my regular slot was available, but it was heavy artillery regiment, so handling, yeah, exactly, yeah. I can't mention what regiment or anything like that it was, because there are people watching the channel, and it's like what Danny Roscoe says. He said, don't give any tidbits of information away, because they build up a dossier and they use it to try and find information out about it. That's why I'm very guarded about personal information, stuff like that. My past. And it's a shame it has to be like that, but there's some sick people out there. Steve will tell you about, this is to all you new subscribers out there, about the nut job a few months ago that was trying to find me. He was an absolute nut job, stalker. He claimed to be ex-military. Yeah, but that was been a scary time. I have lots of real stories of what goes on in certain sections of the army, and it's not good. Yep. Then sounds like when you was in the army, it was certainly a higher standard of fitness. Maybe they've dumbed it down or forced more immigrants to get in. Who knows? I don't know. I've got a clue. It's not beyond the pale to give. It's not beyond the pale to not give too much away online. Exactly. It's a very, very fine line I've got to tread. I got warned a couple of months back by my previous employers, my close protection employers out in Iraq, that I'd said too much about certain things. Do you follow English woodsmen? Yes, I do. I used to watch him a lot on YouTube. Now, talking about that, yeah, I like Dan. I think he's a bit gullible sometimes, though. Do you want to watch a little bit of one of my videos? One of my camping videos? Thumbs up if you want to watch one of those. There, now watch another YouTuber. That's great, being there. He is a genuine guy. There are some people within the camping community on YouTube that aren't genuine, that just make shit up, and it's blatantly obvious that what they're doing is wrong. Thumbs up for everybody if you want to see one of my camping videos. The first one, oh god, the first one I ever did was so embarrassing. I sounded so crap on camera. It's awful. Do you want to see one? All right, I'll try and find one. All right, let's go look for it. Right, so if you want to check out my channel, by the way, it's Dark Night Camping. Dark Night Camping. Get YouTube up. Stop sharing till I find it. Right, let's have a look and actually share screen. Actually share the screen and show it you. You can see which video you want to watch. Right, we'll get rid of that. I don't need that new tab now. There we go. Right, don't need that now either. To StreamYard. Right, there's the one where I got attacked by horses. There's the one where I got surrounded by cows and I couldn't get out of the toilet because there were balls everywhere. Yeah, I've had quite a few adventures. So this is my camping channel. It's got 430 subscribers at the minute, so go subscribe to that one as well. Woodland Stealth Camp in the hammock. That was deer spotting. That's when I first moved up to this area. Got lots of shorts on there. Videos. Strange encounter on a night hike. Quite a few actually. Quite a few videos. Slim that down. There we go. Bivy tech mode. Huge fail. No tent camp on a lake. That was a good one. Did an abandoned factory stealth camp. Came across some idiots on bikes. English countryside camp. Druid caves. That's somebody I used to do camping with. Adventures with Sog. Haunted Hills, the Witches on Pendle Hill. Went and did a hike on Pendle Hill. So let's see if we can. Right, this was a weird one. Look at that one. Well, look at this one first. It's actually showing.
Right, guys. So another camping adventure out again. This time, though, we're on a paid campsite. This time, bit of a relaxing camp. I'm at the Eric Bine campsite. It's not that much a night. I think it's about £3.50 a night. I might be stopping for 2 nights. I don't know yet. We'll see how things go. But yeah, out another adventure. I'll bring you back when I'm getting towards the top. First mission is getting over this thing. Up we go. These are mental. I don't particularly want to die. Get over this thing. That was a bit of a ball ache, but we're over it. and we're on the track. So this is a little place called Baslow. Chatsworth is just over in that direction. There's a nice.
So yeah, that's my camping channel. If you want to go and watch some more videos like that, just go subscribe on there. It needs a bit more love, actually. I need to do some more camping videos. I've got some winter camping videos coming up in a few months' time once I get all my stuff out of storage. So yeah, go check it out, guys. It's Dark Night Camping on YouTube. Go check it out. Go subscribe. Right, I'm not gonna keep it on going too long. What time is it now? How long have I been going for? 50 minutes. Right, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drop the link in the chat so if anybody wants to come in. And have a chat. Chat about anything really. Copy, that's it, it's copied. Alright. Good for you. See if any trolls are out there hovering. Pendle Hill was a struggle, mate. I had full pack. I hadn't worn a full pack in about 10 years, and I weighed it, and it was a good 30 or 40 pounds of equipment I was taking up there. And we'd been umming and ahhing, and we got there at 9 o'clock at night, and it was it was just going dusk when we were at the bottom of the hill. And you know how long it is to the top. We did the zigzag one. We went the zigzag way up, going up Pendle Hill, and there's like a stone path coming down the way down. And we took one look at the stone path and thought, stuff that. We thought if we do the zigzag path, at least it might be a little bit better. No, it was worse. It was worse. Proper leg burner, that one. Absolute leg burner. But the views at the top are amazing. Absolutely amazing. And on another note, I forget who he was. The person who created the Mormons actually formed the Mormons up on there. And there's a plaque at the top saying this is the site of where the Mormons were formed. Just an interesting fact for you there. Steve, fortunately, hasn't happened to me. I've dropped the link in the chat if anyone wants to come in for a quick talk. I should really just drop the link to my channel, really, shouldn't I, in the chat? Dark Night Camping, so you can go and sub to it if you want to. Right, this is it. I'll drop the link in the chat. If you want to see me on longer morning walk adventures where I camp out overnight, then this is the channel for you. Just imagine it as a longer morning walk, but without the politics, and me just making a tip myself most of the time. Vsb, it is the temperature grading by night. It looks like going on Fendon Moor, Catterick, Garrison. It is barren up there. It reminds me, to be honest with you, it reminds me of Dartmoor up there, really. Because you get up there and it's absolutely barren. It's like a moor that's been stuck on the middle of a mountain on the top. But yeah, it's awesome. It's an awesome little place. It really is. It's got a false summit. You've got like these little tracks at the top with like little brick mounds, rock mounds everywhere. That's the one, mate. That's him. Yeah, I love stuff like that. I want to get where I am now in the countryside. I'm looking forward to doing some winter camping. I've got a stick stove. I know this isn't about politics today, but I kind of like burnt myself out on politics yesterday because we're doing 3 hours of it. I just said everything that I needed to say. At Middleton train there for Parachute Regiment, yeah. I can understand why. Right, I'll drop the link in the chat again. If nobody comes in, I'm just going to call it, guys. It's good because it seems like we've purged ourselves of trolls. Because normally they jump at a chance to get in, but there's none knocking around. Wasn't Ant Middleton a Royal Marine Commando? Because he went into the Special Boat Service, didn't he? Sure, that's it. Because I made the mistake and somebody pulled me up on it. Because I thought that Ant Middleton was SAS, he wasn't. It was Special Boat Services. And it made a lot more sense when I found out he was a Royal Marine, that he went in the Special Boat Service. Ninth Squadron Airborne Engineers, and then Royal Marines, then SBS. Right, okay. See, that's the issue with me. Because I did close protection stuff out in Iraq, I can't talk about it because I signed a pretty strict NDA. Very strict in NDA. So all these guys can talk about the past. I can't talk about anything. I don't think I would anyway. Even if I could, I wouldn't, because I'm not sure if there's guys still out where I work or anything like that. I don't know what the crack is out there in a minute. And as they say, loose lips sink ships type thing. They're not protected like the military are. They're on their own. Pretty much on their own. No backup or anything. Oh yeah. Right, guys. I've dropped the link in a few times. Nobody's offered to come in, so I'm just going to call it. I know it was only a brief one, not a very interesting stream today, but I'll be honest with you. Yesterday kind of burnt me out a little bit with the politics. I don't normally do 3-hour long streams, but it was flowing so well with myself and Tom. Just kept going. We just kept talking about topics. It was great. I love doing it. I love doing things like that. Really do. Vin, what activities can native young British men get involved in besides, say, boxing? They may increase their confidence and beneficial for what might happen. I don't know. I don't know. I would say this though. Everybody should have some basic camping skills, and that sort of thing. Martial arts, to some extent, yeah, but some martial arts aren't very useful on the street or in any sort of situation. The thing with martial arts is some martial arts, the way they're taught, that for them to be effective, both people have to accept certain rules. Now, in a street fight, there are no rules, if you get my meaning. I would say if you're going to do anything, probably kickboxing or something like that. Something that's a combination of boxing and martial arts. That's a really good point, Steve. SAS Handbook is a great mind opener. Yeah, I had I'm not sure if it was the handbook, it's the SAS Survival Guide that I had. And you've got people like Bear Grylls telling people to drink the piss. And it's the first thing on the survival guide in the SAS handbook is don't drink your piss. And there's a good reason why you don't drink your piss, because it's got ammonia, it's got salts in it. It can actually dehydrate you faster than water. And there's a good reason why your body actually expels urine. It's because it's waste material. So it's not particularly good for you anyway. That's why it gets rid of it. That's why it stores it in your bladder and then expels it. it wouldn't be very clever to like piss it into a cup and drink it. What it is good for though, it is sterile. So if you have blisters or anything like that, piss on your feet. Piss on your feet if you haven't got any antiseptic or anything like that. Especially if you've got bad blisters on your feet, piss on them because the ammonia and stuff is sterile anyway. It's sterile. So yeah, it's not very clever to drink your own piss, really. It's not a very good survival technique. Yeah, to soften the leather. My granddad told me about that when he was in the army during World War II. He was to piss in the boots to soften the leather. Then speaking of camping, what are your thoughts on Les Stroud? I like him, Survivor Man. I like him. It's pretty good. I think the thing that concerns me at the minute with the online camping community, everything has to be mysterious now. Everything's about UFOs. Everything's about ghosts in the woods. Everything's about Bigfoot. And it's like, it's just to draw people in. It's just to draw clicks in as well. I watched the outdoor gear review guy, whatever his name is. Yeah, I know, Steve. Funny story, Steve. My granddad showed me how to build a field oven, and all it was an old, cleaned out oil drum that they used to pack sand around, and they would put a hole in the top, build a little chimney out of baked bean cans, and they would have a bread oven. They'd have an oven. I don't know that guy, Trev Trex. The people I normally watch is what's his name now? Mandingo. Mandingo. What's his name now? Can't remember his channel's name now. You probably know who he is. I watched Dan. I used to watch Steve Wallace. Steve Wallace has gone downhill a bit to me now. Steve Wallace has gone very gimmicky in his stealth camping. Thanks, Babs. Thank you. It's like a sandstone which was tin with sand, and yeah, that's what they used to do. My granddad, he taught me how to make beer batter bread. It's like a flatbread. He used to put a stout in it with yeast and flour, and that's how they used to make fresh bread out when they could. Beer batter bread. It's awesome as well. It's dopamine desensitization. Everything has to keep getting weirder or more extreme. Yeah, it's like with the stealth camping thing. I did it for a bit. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds a bit exciting, but I got bored. I didn't see the appeal of camping behind a McDonald's bin at McDonald's. Didn't appeal to me. I'd much rather be out in the countryside, having an adventure in the woods, than trying to avoid getting stabbed in the eye by some homeless hobo whilst I'm camping behind a bin behind McDonald's. But yeah, I get why people do it. It's for the clicks and stuff like that. And if that's what they want to do, fair play to them. I take it your granddad was in Derby Lance. No, he was from Newcastle. So I don't really know what regiment he was from. He's from Gateshead. My granddad was from Gateshead. So he would have been probably around your area, Steve. Yeah, my granddad was a Geordie. He worked on before he went in the army, he worked on the shipyards. I don't know what he was. The thing about my granddad was he didn't really talk about his time in the army a lot, and I understand why. And you know what? I didn't really understand that until I'd been out and been in a war zone myself. I could never understand it as a kid. And I constantly asked him about it. I was saying, you know, what was it like? What did you do when I was a kid? And he would never answer. And my grandma would always come and say, you know, don't answer. And it never occurred to me till years later, he died in, was it 2018? He died in 2018, January 2018, 91. And it never occurred to me that he might have had PTSD. And that's why he never really talked about it. Yeah, exactly. Roundabouts. I don't know what the obsession is with roundabouts and stealth campers. It was in the RAF, yeah. Yeah, my granddad was an apprentice. He was an apprentice welder. And he worked on, was it the King George V? He worked on the King George V. It was the battleship that sank the Bismarck. He worked on that. Sounds like my dad. His advice to me was don't get captured. But he was out fighting the Japanese. Roundabouts are good for isolation. Not so good for drunk idiots driving over you in the middle of the night, though, Steve. That's the one thing that put me off doing roundabout camps and stuff like that. It's like the mental people around this area that get drunk and just drive straight over a roundabout. It's like, no thanks. No thanks. Then would you ever try camping in a different country in the future outside the UK? I have. I went to Zante in Greece, went mountain biking around Zante in Greece, and I didn't even book a hotel, just slept out on the beach. So yeah, that was in my young days. That was when I was 21, that. Some roundabouts around here, you wouldn't manage driving over. And yeah, I can imagine that. Ours are just straight over those, Steve. There's nothing to stop a car coming straight over the roundabout. Yeah, there's trees in the middle, but that wouldn't stop them. I remember going to work once, and I was on my mountain bike on my way to work, and this 4x4 just ploughed straight into the middle of a roundabout. It destroyed everything. It's like, no thanks. Afternoon, Stefan. How are you doing, buddy? You've just joined us for the last bit of the stream. Just winding down, mate. It's been a bit of a chilled out one this afternoon. People just ask me questions about my past and stuff like that. But actually, I can show you them. I'll show you my grandma around now. If you can see it. We'll have a go. Here we go. Right, take the camera off a minute. Here we go. Right, there we go. Put it that way, you can see, and there we go. That's better, yeah. So obviously that's my granddad, and that's my grandma, and that's me when I was younger. The younger me, you can see. Get it up there. Where the hell's the camera? There we go. There we are. There's me when I was younger. Granddad with the pints on the table. Grandma with with the lager shandy that she always used to have. They're both passed away now. My grandma just passed away this year in January. 96. 96, bless her. She had a grand old age. Miss them. Miss them both. Didn't have any parents growing up. Well, I did, but they weren't proper parents. My mum and dad divorced when I was 4. She met somebody else, my stepdad. He wasn't very nice to me. My mum wasn't very nice to me, so these two brought me up. So I was brought up the old-fashioned way. My granddad was a sergeant in the army. He boxed in the army as well. Grandma was the nicest, kindest person you could ever meet in your life. A true lady she was, and they both taught me different things. My granddad taught me strength and to always be true to myself. And my grandma, she taught me to be, I don't know, open-minded, and to give people the benefit of the doubt. So these were my real parents. And I know this might sound awful, but I'm so glad they're not around to see the country we live in now. I really am. So glad they're not around to see it. Yeah, that was me in my prime. There. Let's just see. Why is it doing that? There we go. Right, there we go. Turn it around that way. I don't know why it's doing that. But yeah, well, that was my grandma anyway. And me when I was younger. Exactly. I was brought up to respect my elders, but to hold my own and to always be true to myself. That's what I was brought up to be. I remember my granddad's face when I told him that I was going off to Iraq to do close protection stuff. He was gutted. He didn't want me to go. He didn't want me to join the TA. That was the compromise. That's the reason I joined the TA in the first place, was because we got into lots of arguments because I wanted to join the regular army. He didn't want me to do it and he wouldn't tell me. He used to close up, but now reading between the lines, I know why he didn't want me to join the army. It's because he'd been through it. You know, he went through hell. And from the little I know of what he did during the war, I know that he was a part of the D-Day landings. So I can only imagine what he went through during that day. And the only time he only ever opened up to me was once when I was 12 and he'd had a lot of whiskey. And I'll tell you why I remember this day, because it's the day that his mum died. And I went round to see him. So I went around most days seeing my grandma and granddad to get away from my home life. And all the curtains were closed. It was the middle of the day, it's summer, why all the curtains closed? And in those days, it was a sign of respect because his mum had died. They used to close the curtains. And he was just sat in the dark on his own, on the sofa, drinking a glass of whiskey. And I just sat next to him. Look at some of the comments. Yeah. My aunt got me to take my cousin around Newcastle on Friday night to put him off joining the police. Yeah, I remember people closing the curtains. Yeah, it was a big thing. And it just shows you how much we've lost because we had all those traditions. They've gone. They've gone. Anyway, back to the story. He opened up very briefly about the D-Day landings. Because I remember I was doing the D-Day landings at school at the time. And he said that it was like hell on earth. He said it was hell on earth. He lost, I think he lost all of his friends. He lost all of his friends on the beach during D-Day. He lost them all. They were all killed, every single one of them. And he said it was just sheer luck that he survived. He said he could hear the rounds flying past his head, the high-powered rifle rounds, the machine gun rounds. And he said it was just absolute blind luck that he made it to the front of the cliffs where he was. And he said, you know, just kept his head down and he like just fought the way off the beach. And that's the only thing he ever told me about the war. Now, years later, when he passed away, there were photos. There were photos of him. He got German prisoners. He was keeping German prisoners. He got them. There was pointing his gun at them with his tongue sticking out. But yeah, he said it was horrific. He said to me, because I once brought Saving Private Ryan round for him to watch because I thought I'd be interested in it, and he wouldn't watch it. He said he'd heard about it, but I think one of my uncles had brought it round for him to watch beforehand, and he watched the first few minutes of it. He couldn't watch it because it was too realistic. He wouldn't even watch Band of Brothers. He wouldn't even watch Band of Brothers because he said that was too realistic too. I guess it just brings back memories, doesn't it? It triggers the PTSD. Like, you know, I couldn't relate to him on that day when he was upset and, you know, was climbing up. I couldn't relate to that until years later, until I'd come back from Iraq after we suffered the IED attack, and I'd lost all my mates in that attack. And it's only then that we really connected. We really connected. I remember when I came back, and he just hugged me because he could see it in my eyes. He could see it in my eyes that I'd changed, and he warned me before I went. He said, "You'll not be the same person again." He says, "Once you go into a war zone," he says, "you will be a different person." And he took me to the mirror and he showed me. He says, "Look at that person now, because that person won't be the same when you come back." And that's where I got that from. When I think I said it in one of my videos, where I think it's in a comment actually. Boys go off to war, but they come back men. And it's true. You have to grow up really quickly in a war zone. Very, very quickly. And it brought myself and my granddad up close together, because he could see in my eyes what he felt himself. It was, I can kind of, I think, yeah, I can kind of say this. It was, I can't go into details about it, but the IED that killed all my mates was, from the investigation and the inquiry, it was a 2,000-pound truck bomb remotely detonated that killed them all. I don't remember half of it because the blast itself just threw me, and I was buried under a wall. Unfortunately, it killed all them. And I saw the pictures of the aftermath because I hadn't seen it because I was in a bad way. And there was nothing left. It looked like a nuclear bomb had gone off. There were lorries that were big, articulated lorries that had just been fucking bent, and it was just horrific. I think that from what I could tell, the only thing that saved me is because I was partially obscured by reinforced concrete wall. That most of the blast was deflected away from me. Everywhere around me was just vaporized. This bomb went off half a mile up the road, by the way. And it's not the blast that kills you, it's the shockwave. Obviously the shrapnel from the bomb as well, but it's the shockwave that gets you. It's the shockwave that ruptures your organs and breaks your bones. It basically ragdolls you. It's a compression wave. But all I remember is a bright flash and the smell of burning petrol, and that's it. That's all I ever remember. Two of my triggers for my PTSD. If I ever smell petrol anyway, it's like I can't go near petrol stations or anything like that. But yeah. Bosnia could change the minds of those who reckon civil war is the way to go. Yeah, I wish we had a device where I could put a device on my head and on a person that wants civil war, and for them to experience what war is really like, because then they wouldn't be advocating for it. They really wouldn't. That time in view is coming to our land, mate. That's what we need to get prepared. Yeah. I feel you're right, and that scares me, Stefan. It really does. Well, what a chapter of your life, definitely. No, you're fine. Yeah, it was a particularly tough time, I can tell you, to get through that. I had a lot of survivor's guilt. You constantly ask yourself, why me? Why did I survive? And it was like what my granddad said. He said, it's just sheer luck. It's just sheer luck, kid. He said, and then he said, I don't know how I survived D-Day. He said the Germans were absolutely plastering the beach with lead. He said it's a miracle anybody made it to the other side of that beach. So that's why, guys, we can't let their sacrifice be in vain. All those young men throwing themselves, it's not just British, Americans, Canadians, throwing themselves at machine gun fire for our freedom. And we've got people that won't even get up off their arses and, they don't even have to do anything, just stay at home for a national strike. It's not like much is being asked of them, is it? They're just being asked to stay at home and not do anything. It's not like they're being asked to run head first into any machine gun fire, is it? It's the least we could do with their sacrifice, and with, Remembrance Sunday slowly growing near. I think people should, look on that and reflect on that and look at their sacrifice and look at what we're allowing to happen in this country. Freedom isn't free. Somebody told me that the other day. Freedom isn't free. You have to fight for it. Every few generations, you have to fight for freedom. And I think this is one of those times we have to fight for it tooth and nail, because these people are hell-bent on taking it away from us. We can't let those people who died on those beaches die in vain. They died for nothing. If we allow this to happen, they died for nothing, because the people who are taking over this country did it without a single shot being fired. We can't let it happen. We have to resist. We have to resist digital ID. We have to resist everything that this Starmer regime is throwing at us, because they're evil. They're just as evil as the people that we fought over 80 years ago and prevented from invading this country. They're just as evil as they are. That's something everybody has to bear in mind. All wars are bankers' wars. They've been pulling the strings. Yes, whatever. I just hope there are enough of us, Finn. Well, during the Revolutionary War, only 1% of the colonists out in America actually got up and fought in the war. So if just 1% get up and fight, it's a start, isn't it? Finn, I've heard people that were in war suffering mentally benefit from taking psychedelic drugs like DMT, or some say don't do any of that shit. Don't do any of that shit. If you've got PTSD, that's the last thing you should be doing. The way I manage my PTSD is the morning walks. That's how I manage my PTSD. Being out in the countryside. None of that artificial self-medicating shit for me. Right, guys, I'm going to call it. I've been going out for 1 hour, 24 minutes. So, yeah. It is. It is a great healer. Anybody that's got mental health problems or anything like that, the best thing you can do is exercise, get out in the countryside, get some fresh air, and that's the best thing you can do. That's why I go camping as well. Just be in the outdoors. It really is nature's cure. It really is. Right, guys, I'm going to call it. So thank you for coming along. Thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing. I want to thank all the new subscribers to the channel for sharing my content, for getting the word out there. This channel wouldn't exist without you guys. It really wouldn't. And I can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart for making this channel what it is, because that's what you've done. My audience, nothing more, it's you guys. And I appreciate it. I appreciate you all. I really do. So I shall see you in the next video, the morning walk video tomorrow. This is Vindicator. Sign off. Thanks for coming along, guys.